Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik, Jennifer Eklund arrangement.
Oh, okay. What's going, man?
Good.
Doing good? And you've been here all day with us, man. It's good. Which one is it in here?
Toward the back and thing.
Cool.
There it is.
Oh, okay, yeah, the Mozart. Okay, that's really cool. You want to try this from memory, or you want to do it with music?
I'll do it from memory.
You do it from memory? All right, this game. This is a little night music in any king. I can't talk German. It's a little night music. It's a Mozart piece, like a really nice Mozart piece. It's cool. I'm excited. You ready?
Yep.
Yeah. This is nice. Thank you. Yes. Really. Cool. Have you heard the original piece that this is based on? You ever heard it before? It's all strings. It's like you've heard it. Probably heard it before.
I probably have. I just don't remember.
It's a big person. Mozart was all about showing off and like writing things that are like really impressive. That's all Mozart ever did. Like it's all his pieces are. They're all really big, pompous. Like Mozart didn't really have most of the pieces are like really big, gigantic, happy types of music. He only wrote like three very. The Requiem is one of the pieces that are more kind of slower. That's a big chunk of works. But Mozart didn't really write too many other things that were on the other spectrum of the emotion. Most of his pieces were really like upbeat, happy kind of type music. I don't know if you know anything. What do you know about Mozart? Like, tell me what you know about him. That he was a child prodigy. That's what most people know. Yeah. A lot of what Mozart did. Mozart was actually like was in the court. Like he was enlisted in his family. Like his father grew up writing for music for the king of this country, and so Mozart made a lot of his money doing that at a big part of his life. So a lot of the reason why Mozart's music is big happy because the king or queen, whoever he was writing for, I want to listen to this while I take. They were like the iPods of the day. So this is that's why a lot of his music is very upbeat and very happy. He's always writing for music that's going to go out into the court and out to the land like every other day. But he only had like a few pieces that are pretty sad, like soft, or like the others like everything but happy. There's only a few. There's only a handful of them that are out there. So most of his music is pretty upbeat and happy. But this is really nice. I like the way you play this. So if you ever listen to like the way a string person like a violin would play this, do you think that it'll be like? So you've heard somebody play violin before, right? So the way that someone would play this is what it's based on. Like I want you to listen to. You have to ask you have to listen to you have to play this for them so you can hear the string arrangement of it. So when the person's playing this on the violin, it's very like brisk and the notes are really long. Like what I'm saying, the notes aren't going to be like short like you have up here. So the notes are more going to be more into the piano. So that's what I want to encourage you to do is like you don't have to play. The way you're playing is really, really great, but I'm just going to experiment this with you. Is like you don't have to play everything so separated and everything. I mean, like what I'm trying to say, like everything has to be so separated. You don't have to play it. It's so pointy. You don't have to be so you don't have to attack the piano so much. Is what I'm trying to say. Like you can be very, very light and very, very brisk into like without without being so like you're punching the piano. Which is not as great that you could do that. It's hard for people your age to be able to play it very loud and stuff. What I'm trying to say is like to take your melody and make you don't have to play it as loud. You can still be like you can still have this melody and make it very loud without having to like bang into the piano. Yeah. So once you try the starting it again, and I'll be able to show you what I mean more.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the beginning. Yeah, okay, so can you just play that theme again? The bum, bum, bum. Yeah, keep going. That's great right there. So what I'm trying to say is like you don't have to like here it says forte, but you don't have to like it's not overpowering kind of loud. I think this is a little bit more just like, hey, I'm here. What's up, man? How are you? Kind of thing like that. Like, yeah, it's great that you have the power and loud, but the thing is like Mozart's like piano like was nothing like the piano that we have today. Like Mozart didn't even have like a full size piano. Like most of what Mozart had was like was either a clavichord or a harpsichord. Like it wasn't nowhere even near the same kind of the dynamic level of that. And most of the time, if you want to try to stay true, if you're trying to stay true to what the era of the composers, you try to like to experiment playing it that way. So you don't have to play everything so brisk and like so loud. Even though Mozart's personality is that way, you can play loud, but not. You can be playing loud, but you don't have to be like raw. Like that was more of the time of Beethoven's era, which was way later than that. Mozart lived in the same era as Beethoven. Like they were it's what we call like the classifications of time like, through music. You have the classical period, and first you start off with the Baroque period, which is people like Bach, Handel, and those kind of composers. And then like 100 or so years later, you would have your Beethoven, Mozart, and Haydn were the big three composers. And later on, you go after that, you go into like the more romantic composers like Chopin, Brahms, Schumann, Wagner, all those composers. But so a lot of people like to try to teach the playing styles from that era and stuff. So if you would look, and you can Google a lot of stuff. Like you can look up the instruments that Mozart would have used. Like their piano was like. It was a horrible instrument. Like it was just like I don't even understand like why people would play it back then. It's like it sounds like the sound of it. It's like it sounds like itty bitty like mice like striking on the string. It's horrible. It's awful. I don't know why they played it back then. But the sound was nowhere near as loud or intense as what we have today. And so if you want to try to stay true to that, you don't have to be so big and strong, but you don't have to be so big and powerful with it. That didn't come along until more Beethoven's time. Like that was still like 50 years. Mozart was before Beethoven, so it was like 50 more years where Beethoven actually had the early version of the piano. And so why don't you try playing it? And this time you don't have to press in. So like when you're playing the piano, you could like you're playing really great, but but you can still be loud and not like you're not pressing into the piano. So can you just try to like relax a little bit and just see how the volume level changes. Yeah, that's great. So I could tell a difference than that from the first time when you started playing it. It was much more intense than that. It was versus it's still loud. So you don't want to have to like do that. So there's two reasons why we try to not give everything so away. You're gonna be tired by the time you get here because like you're already running out of energy because it's like I gotta play everything so fast like here, and then by the time you get to the middle of the piece you're dead and like you can't make it through all those notes in time. So you do that. We say to do that so it's also going to help like save your life later because when you get here it's like you're dead. If you're trying to play for everything full out like punching everything, it's going to make you tired like really quick. So you got to save a little bit of your energy for later on the piece, like so it gives a little more little bit differences in the piece. So can you keep going, start again and keep going?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, I had a question. I had a question about this. How did you learn this? Did you learn this part? Did you group it together and then like you took this section by that section to that section, or do you just like try to play both hands separately and then like together slowly at a time? So did you learn it this way? Like this is one group, and then you have this group.
I'm pretty sure I just played it like just slowly all together.
All the way slowly all together. So the cool thing of the way that Mozart wrote music, he would always put things together in sandwiches, and like this is gonna be one little chunk here. Technically, the way it's written, like this is, if you can see all 3 of those notes, 4 notes here. This is one group here, and then like from here with all that and that, because you have 4 16th notes to make a quarter note, right? You know that? So that's one grouping there, and this is another grouping here, and that's another grouping there. I encourage you to try to practice it that way, because that's going to help you. Because if this is like a really hard section, it's like this is going to help you like layer it together. So you only would just have to play this much, and then you combine the 2 sections together instead of having to try it. Oh, I got this really big passage. I got to play it from here all the way over there really fast. Like take it apart and then add each of those phrases together. So you have, and then boom, 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 and that's one section. And then you would go back and just like, and it's be just that much. Just that much like that. And then you would go from this part until you get to that next little chunk. And then that makes it a little bit easier to play, because later on it'll be a lot easier because you've done the groundwork to put it together. That's what you try. Can you just try that? Can you just try it? So you're gonna go from here into there, and you're gonna stop at that C.
Okay.
Just slow. And that's one section. That's one section. That's how you would. It makes your life a lot easier to practice that way. So do it again. Do it again. Yeah. So you would go to this next note on the left hand, so you know that. This next one. Try it again. Yeah, and then so from here you go from there, and then you're gonna go to that one over there to the E.
Okay.
Yeah, go slower. Next time. Yeah, go slow. So boom. Go a lot slower. Yeah. That's one section of it, and then you would put this one to the end. Just go slow. Here. You're getting it. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to switch your brain like this at the last minute. Yeah, so try it again. Yeah, so those are little 3 sections that you put together. But like a lot of times, people that try to sit there and you have these big long passages. If you try to practice them, like all the way through each single note one, but consistently after another, it's gonna grab you. It's gonna be tougher to play that way. So if you take it and add it in chunks, like I was talking about earlier, it makes life a lot easier. And I personally think Mozart wrote it that way, so you would practice it that way. He would never. I don't think Mozart would have taught it. Would ever teach it like this is one whole continuous passage. This is section by section by section, and you see that constantly in the way that they wrote it and the way that it's written. So you have like these 2 longer notes here, and then you have a break because there's time to get space in here, and you can have a space there for that, and there's time for this next one, and there's time to get to there. So that's how you would technically to make the physically part of it work. So that way you have something to keep you to start like exercising every day. So then eventually you would have it and you have the whole passage. It's a long, tedious process, but I encourage you to try to do it that way and just in blocks like that. That's just like that. Cool. Another question I had, have you ever tried using the pedal with this?
Not with this song.
On this? Why not? You have pedals there.
I don't know.
You don't. Yeah. Well, Mozart's piano didn't have pedals, but I think that it makes it a little bit more fun to play because you have like all these nice singing lines and stuff, and it makes the piece sound. It makes it a lot more fun to play. I encourage you to try it. a little bit, not necessarily through like a lot of these faster points, but when you get to this next section, it goes into a different dynamic change here, and it makes it a lot more prettier. And so if it's there on the instrument, I think you should use it. Like there's a lot of people, there's a lot of scholars that are just like, no pedal, and any of this Mozart didn't have pedal. But I was like, but it's on the instrument. Like Mozart's dead. Like, but it makes it sound so much better. And just so, can you try that from this part? Use it. Okay. So this first time, play it without pedal, and then we'll go back and add pedal. Yeah. Okay, it's good. So when this piece that I was talking about is more of a string piece, and when you listen to it with the orchestra, the violin is naturally already gonna sound like it's gonna be with the pedal. It's gonna be. It's gonna naturally already sound that way. That's why I encourage you to please use a little bit more pedal, because the way that Mozart already wrote it, it's already there, and he just couldn't do it on his piano. So I think like that's the way he was thinking in his head. If he had the mechanics do it, it's gonna sound like he's singing, because that's what this next part is. So it's gonna be bum, 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 bum. So when you add pedal, it helps that effect a lot more. Can you try it with pedal a little bit?
Yep.
Okay, so when you do pedal, you're gonna have to pedal. It's gonna be tough. It's a lot of footwork. You're gonna have to pedal each one of those things that it comes with the left hand. Let's try it. Keep going. Yeah. That song. Do you think is it a lot easier to play too?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to play too. So imagine that. It makes life a lot easier. I think Mozart would have used it. Like I don't necessarily agree with a lot of people that are saying that it doesn't have to. There's some pieces that without pedal sounds just as effective. But I think that if you want to have a little bit more fun, a little bit more freedom, use it. It's on the piano. Go ahead and use it. It's there. This is really, really great. The other thing I was going to tell you, I want to encourage you to try to balance out the way you're playing these parts. Obviously, the right hand part is what we call a melody, and then your left hand part is the part we call the accompaniment or just the chords. Which part do you think is more important?
Probably the left hand, actually.
You think the left hand's more important? Really?
Because it keeps the beat.
Keeps your beat. That's good that he says that. Your left hand is more control. I remember we were talking about that a while ago. Your left hand is more. Your left side of your brain is the more foundation kind of keeps your tempo together and stuff. But in actual terms of what Mozart actually wrote, the part that's more important to me, and there's no right or wrong agreements. These are just us talking about music. But I think that the more important, the noticeable part to people is the melody, and so. What you want to have is you don't want to hear most people would rather not listen to this. This is boring. That's boring. The most interesting part is the melody. So I want to encourage you to try to bring out that a little bit more. Just try it. Try playing it now. Yeah, try it. So try to bring out your right hand a little bit more than your left hand. It's hard, isn't it? Yeah, it's hard to do because you try to have more control over what's going on in each hand. So the easier ways to try to do that is to completely ignore your left hand and just focus on your right hand. It's hard. It's easier said than done. What I mean by that, just focus more playing when you're playing. The left hand still, but it's there just barely. Can you just play the left hand by itself just for a couple times, just really light. That's all you need. And the harmony is still there. Yeah, just like that. Now try playing it with your right hand, but just remember what you did in the left hand, but bring out that a little bit more. There you go. Yeah, good. Good, keep going. That's great. good. All right, so let's talk about the ending part. How much time do we got? 2 more 3 minutes. Let's talk about the end. Can you just play the ending for me again? I just want to remember what you did. Like. Good. That's great. It's the same kind of thing we were talking about here earlier too. It'll be a lot easier to play because if you take this and you break it up a little bit too. You're doing really, really great, but I just want to make it. Does it feel like it's like you have? Does it feel physically hard to do?
No.
Does it? Okay. It doesn't. That's great. It's great. But I wanted to tell you to do it that way because that way if you take this from here and to where it ends to this from this point from here to here. Like it's already. So I think. Do you teach them?
No, Stephanie does.
Stephanie does. Yeah, it's great. Like, she already has it marked out that way for you. It's great. It's really great. She has it marked out for you that way because this is one little section from here, all the way over to there, and so that's how you would practice it, just like we talked about from here. So can you do this really? Just play it slowly from here to there, and just play it slowly a couple times. Yeah, and so these are eighth notes, right? Mm-hmm. Can you play a little? So can you try to match my eighth notes and do it? That's why I'm playing a little bit slower. Bum, bum. Well, listen. So each note's gonna go bum 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 bum. Bum. It's a little bit slower than that. Good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Try it again one time. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, take your little bit of time. These are quarter notes, so you can take your time. So it's bum, bum, bum. So it gives you time to actually get some energy source. So you have. Let me play it up here. So you can take a little bit more time. Bum, bum, bum. That's where you're gonna land there. So you have G, bum. And then bum, 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 bum. So you have more time to land on here. So take your time. Don't be in a hurry to rush too much from there. Okay. Try it again. That's good. And then there you go. That's it. Yeah, and the same kind of practice I was talking about earlier. Just practicing this hands alone too would be really, really great. And stuff. Just think about those things to think about, and definitely listen to it. Like it's really, really cool. I like this arrangement of it. It's really cool. I like it. Yeah, so listen to it and just try playing it different couple ways. I think you could probably find a recording of someone playing this on a different instrument too. So do some Googling later and listen to it different ways. There's a big, huge movement of people playing it on historical instruments. Like people that are actually have gone back and posted things on YouTube, like people actually playing like harpsichords, and what it actually sounds like in Mozart's time. So listen to it. Sounds interesting. I'm telling you, I personally don't like it that much, but it's interesting to hear like what the piano sounded like back then. Like, so check it out later. This is great, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're great. Yeah, cool.